Yo, what's going on, guys? Rago here from Kite. So today we're gonna do another tech video, and we're gonna talk about how to get the perfect stance for kite surfing, whether you're using foot straps, boots, or whatever. And I've got a couple boards here, and we'll show you with the inserts what you can do to figure out what's going to be perfect for you on the water. So let's get to it. All right, guys, so we're talking about stance here. How to get the perfect stance. Now, with kite surfing, wakeboarding, snowboarding, any sport really, stance is a really subjective thing. And ultimately what it comes down to is what's going to be most comfortable for you. And everybody's body is different. So some riders, they like to ride a wider stance. It's kind of more classic, it's more traditional, it's what you would have seen in sports back in the day. People like to have a really wide, really ducked out stance. And then in recent years, a lot of people have been riding kind of more narrower stances. They're bringing their feet together. Maybe their toes are pointed a little bit more forward. But ultimately what this comes down to is comfort. So the best thing you can do for yourself is just stand anywhere, jump, and then see how you naturally land. And most people are going to naturally land somewhere around shoulder width. It might be a little more narrow, it might be wider, and then just go into a squat. And what should happen is you shouldn't feel any pressure in your knees. You don't want to feel it in your hips or your back or your ankles. So pay attention to your joints and just see how low you can go in a squat, and do a few squats and just see what's most comfortable. And you might wanna get warmed up for this, so maybe do a quick jog, jump around, stretch a little bit so you can get limber. But what you're looking for is, are there any like pressure points? Is there anything where, like, if you have your ankle at a certain angle or your knees getting pushed a certain way when you bring them in, like, that's super uncomfortable for me. That's not bad at all for me. I like to bring it in a little bit. So experiment. You're gonna look a little bit funny, but just go in your living room, jump, see where you land, and mess around. Take some measurements, or you could do it right here. I've got some boards set up, so you can set a board up here. I'll hold it up high. Let's see if you can see this. And then and you can see, like, on this Atmos here, looks like I would use probably right here, one of these two. Probably the middle insert on this board would be ideal for myself. And then from there, you need to experiment with the ducking. Now with boots, you have to be kind of specific. So if you pay attention to a booted board, I've got my Vitatex here without the regular boots. You can see they give me measurements. So I like to keep mine locked in all the way on the inside here. And then I usually just have this little spacing right here on the outside. And this duck stance here is really comfortable for me. And then with foot straps, you have a lot more give because your foot can move. You have more forgiveness with foot straps, which is one of many reasons why beginner riders and most people kind of opt for them. So I have some range of motion here with my ankle, so it doesn't matter as much. But you can see with this board right now, it's set right here on the middle insert with the middle setting, and this is pretty good duck stance for most people. You can see on the board. And when I say duck stance, the board, it's angled out just a little bit. Some people like to have them maybe a bit brought in, so you might have a straighter stance. And depending on that test we did where you jumped, you might have to really duck them out quite a bit to make it comfortable. You don't want to go too extreme. So on these foot straps, again, you can see not a ton of options. You don't need that much room to adjust the angle on the foot straps. Now, as far as your duck stance and how wide or narrow your stance is, with kite surfing, it doesn't make too much of a difference in performance, whatever discipline you're doing, as long as it's comfortable for you. If you're doing something really specific or niche where you're hitting features, it does make a little bit of a difference. Some people prefer to have a narrower stance if there's somebody who's grinding things, but with kite surfing, that's not most of us, so that really doesn't matter. What it comes down to is what's comfortable for your body. How can you absorb the impact on landing? And as well, you're gonna be riding in that kind of that crouch stance anyway most of the time. So you just need to find a stance that doesn't put any pressure on your knees, your hips, or your ankles. So Curious to know what stands you guys are riding. How do you like to set up your board? Do you like to have a wide duck stance? Do you like to keep them straight? Let me know in the comments, and if you have any questions as well, just let me know. So if you guys found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you next time.